Hi everyone, my name is Nathan, and I am a 31-year-old gay, black, Korean teacher living in Bangkok, Thailand. I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time. I have been now here in Bangkok for a month and a half. I recently moved here, obviously, and I moved here from Los Angeles, California, but I have been living abroad outside the United States for about, I would say, 13 years now. I left the US straight out of high school, literally got on a plane, and since then I have lived in South Korea, uh, France, Spain, Poland, Colombia, and now Thailand. I was back in the US recently for about a year or some change after living in Europe for the past 9 years or 10 years. It's hard for me to remember all these years. But after living in Poland, I went back to the US with hopes of going to London for grad school. It didn't work out, kind of got trapped in the US, and I was actually working as a Korean interpreter for a major Korean company and was doing that for some time, like I said, about a year, and then I quit and I moved here to Thailand. So, yeah, I wanted to get on here because I've decided that enough is enough. I have been wanting to make videos for years. I've wanted to share my life with you guys for years. Um, but it's taken me a lot of, I think, work on the inside to figure out why I haven't done the things that I've wanted to do in regards to sharing my stories, sharing who I am, my experiences, especially being with the fact that I am gay and black, living on my own all these years outside the US, and these different cultures and societies that I get to have the opportunity to experience, you know, my identity and how that kind of mixes with all that, I think it's a very, very interesting perspective that I think needs to be shared, especially for other people like me out there who have no representation, who may be like me, little Nathan out there when I was younger, not knowing what I can expect when I go out in the world. And even if you're not, if you identify with any part of my identity, even if you don't, I think that it's so important to share your experience so other people can understand the world through your eyes. So I say that to say that, yeah, I am going to challenge myself this year. It's 2025. I'm 31 years old. And I think I've lived a pretty cool life so far. Not to say that it's been easy at all. Challenging, heartbreaking, amazing moments as well. But we only get one life, and this is my story. So here we go. So, let's get into it. Basically, yeah, I've been here in Bangkok for about a month, sorry, a month and a half, and I could not be in the US. I tried doing corporate America and corporate Korea at the same time, actually. When I was back in the US, when I got my Korean interpreting job, and I was depressed, stressed, and crying. It was hard. It was hard. So I decided that going back outside the US was for me. Which brings me to my story of how I ended up outside the US. Just a little quick thing is I left the US at 18 years old. I am a Korean teacher, actually. So I speak Korean or speak, read, and write Korean fluently. And I learned Korean by going to a Korean language school first in Los Angeles. I am not Korean at all. I have been speaking Korean for about half my life. And if you are from Los Angeles, then you know that Los Angeles has a very, very huge Korean population. And so basically, what happened with that is I ended up meeting some Korean friends as a kid, and they ended up introducing me to a Korean language school for Korean American kids. I ended up going to that school and I ended up learning Korean. And I didn't know it at the time, but Korean was an escape for me. I used Korean as a way to get out of my home. I lived in a very abusive home. There's a lot of domestic abuse, physical abuse going on in my home um, since as far as I can remember, actually. And I used Korean school as a way to kind of escape all of that. Um, Thankfully, my parents, were very supportive, um, but they had no idea that they were supporting my escape. So I went to Korea for the first time when I was 15 years old. I stayed there for the summer, and it completely changed my entire life. It wasn't my first time going outside the US. My family and I used to travel to Mexico or the Caribbean for vacations as a kid, but it was the first time I left the US on my own. So I got on a plane and stayed with a church family back then. I used to go to a church back then, and they had uh, the minister's family offered to host me for the summer, and I was on my own in Korea. It was 2007 or 8, or I can't remember the year, but yeah, so it was a whole different time, and yeah, there was not a lot of people that looked like me back then in Korea, and it completely changed my entire perspective on life, what's possible. And when I was there, one of the guys in that church actually told me, if you like it so much here, why don't you go to university here? And that like blew my mind. And I was like, university? College? In Korea? Like, how is that even possible? Well, it was. So I ended up studying. I got back from Korea that summer, and I studied Korean um, in Korean school until I was 18, and I got on a plane and I moved to South Korea for university. And I went to I went to Korean university just as a normal Korean student, not as a exchange student or anything like that. I was just a normal Korean kid, like a normal Korean kid in the university, and I had to do the same exams and tests and everything just like they did. And yeah, that was an experience. And that began my entire life abroad, basically. I ended up moving to France to finish school because I ended up transferring to a business school in the end, and got my degree in France. And then I got my first job in Spain, in Madrid. And then after that, I started teaching online. I moved to Poland randomly, and I started teaching in Poland online for some different Chinese schools. And then after that, um, my mom gave me the idea of starting my own teaching company online because I wanted to have control of my students, as in who I'm teaching and the material that I'm using and everything. And I was wondering, well, what can I do? My mom was like, why don't you teach Korean? And me naively thinking, who's gonna want to learn Korean from a black guy? I was like, this is not gonna work out. This is dumb. I set up my website, and within a week and a half, I had students and I was booked, and I had an actual company. And so I've been teaching Korean online for the past 5 years now. And yeah, here we are. So that's a little like wrap up of I guess my journey so far. Very, very, condensed summary of my journey. But here we are. And yeah, I never imagined that my life would look like this, that I would be living in Thailand working as a Korean teacher online who is not Korean. So, yeah. Um, so living here now for a month and a half has been quite the experience so far. I basically am dealing with a gut infection actually right now. No lie. I have a gut infection. This is the second time I have had a gut infection. I'm on two antibiotics at the same time right now, and it is a lot. It's a lot, I'm not gonna lie. About 4 days ago, I was completely bedridden. I couldn't even get out of bed. I had to almost drag myself to the local hospital, thankfully, which is only down the street. But it has been a lot. This is the second time, like I said, that I have gotten a gut infection here in Thailand. and it's the medication that I'm taking is breaking my skin out. Even on my body right now, I have like bumps on my body and stuff. I think from the medication, and it's a lot. It's a lot, which leads me to basically go back to earlier where I talked about I wanted to talk about my experiences with living abroad, but I've been kind of holding myself back for many, many years. A lot of that has to do with imposter syndrome, which I didn't realize I've been suffering from for years until actually when I got here and I finally did some kind of being very radically honest with myself and realizing that I think imposter syndrome has definitely held me back for many, many years in regards to what I really wanted to do when it comes to talking about my experiences and my brand and what I would love to make Nate abroad, right? So it's funny how when I got sick here and everything, I got sick now 2 times, and the second time I got sick, I was just like, now my skin's breaking out. I feel like absolute crap. How am I going to get on a camera now and start talking about my experiences or do anything? And I was just like, enough is enough. I cannot lay here and not do anything. I can't sit here any longer and give myself excuses. Like we only have one life, like I mentioned before, and this is it. This is it. So it's time. It's time for me to start doing this. And to be honest, I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing my life with my friends in real life. When we're sitting around at my table and I'm talking and we're sharing with each other about our stories, our experiences, and everything. I love it. I love it. So why can't I do it here? Why not? So I think when it comes to living in Thailand so far, I've only been here a month and a half. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I know this, I know that, this is how things work, or, you know, no, I don't. I don't know jack nothing. I'm still learning. But I do think that my perspective so far on living here is going to be a little different from other people. Just in regards to, I think so far what I've seen on YouTube regarding living here in Bangkok or in Thailand, people leave out a lot of information that I think is very important. I don't see anyone talking about gut infections or contamination of water and food, um, getting bit by mosquitoes and getting malaria or dung fever, or what's it, dang fever. I don't really see people talking about like the reality of certain situations of living here actually. Not to say living here is bad because it is not. It is not. Um, just I think I'm going through a much harsher adjusting period compared to other countries that I have lived in. This is the hardest that I've ever experienced in regards to daily operations of living here, going to the supermarket and how things work there. Um, just a lot of different things. Bureaucracy here is very different compared to other places that I've been. So, yeah, those are the type of things that I think I do need to talk about with people who do want to live here in the future. So, I really look forward to sharing my experiences with you guys as well. And yeah, I want to know your feedback. What do you guys want me to share and talk about and bring to this channel? I really, really need your feedback on that. And if you are someone looking to learn Korean, please check out my website at smarterkorean.com. I am now officially back to teaching and classes are open. I have some of my old students right now, but I'm very, very open to new students. I'm looking for about perhaps, I would say maybe 5 new students. So if you are looking to learn Korean seriously, whether you're looking to move to South Korea or just to travel there, if you're looking to learn Korean with ease and confidence, then I am your teacher. You can check out my reviews at my website, smarterkorean.com, or you can also check out my Facebook page, Smarter Korean. And yeah, I would absolutely love to teach you Korean and help you achieve your language goals. So I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I wish you guys a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are. Bye bye.